most of us are great at dishing out advice and then not quite so great at applying it to our own particular circumstance. And this is so common. It's not that we're anyways flawed, it's just that oftentimes we're emotionally tied into a scenario. We're also being heavily influenced by things like cognitive biases, which basically skew the way that we see things, and our emotional past experiences, which can really impact on how we interpret other events in our current reality. However, it's so important to be able to apply a little bit of context, a little bit of perspective, and I suppose to be able to distance yourself from the emotional content of your life. And that's not a skill that all of us have, particularly in this day and age, because in our culture there's a lot of focus on, the self and the importance of validating your emotions. And that is very important, but it's just as important once you recognize your emotional reaction to be able to gauge how applicable it is in a situation and the role that you have to play in what goes on in your life in situations that occur. And this can be a really difficult one, as I said, because it involves such a great level of awareness. It involves being able to take a deep breath from the reactive element of a situation, assess how another person might be feeling. And again, this is where the skills of empathy, and objectivity come in. And it's not always easy to do when we've been emotionally triggered or when something has set us off. And this is where a coach or a therapist can be really beneficial, or even just writing something down and, applying very logical questions to something. You could ask yourself, okay, how am I going to feel about this in 10 minutes or in 10 days or in 10 weeks in order to understand the importance of it. Likewise, you can ask yourself, okay, if somebody came to me with this problem, what would I advise them to do? And you can also kind of apply a truth element to it. So you can ask yourself, okay, what level of truth do I know about this situation or my interpretation of this situation? Is there a possibility that anything that I am currently telling myself, the story that I am currently telling myself, isn't 100% true? And if I act on this the way that I'm planning to act on this, how am I going to feel tomorrow and the next day? What's the potential impact of acting on this? How is it going to make me feel? How is it going to make other people feel? And then, particularly if it's in a relationship that this situation occurs, ask yourself, is there a possibility that there is something going on for the other person that I don't know about? And I love this kind of concept of always giving somebody the benefit of the doubt and always assume that they have something going on for them that they're struggling with, because I guarantee you, everyone is struggling in some way, shape, or form. And there's this fantastic concept called wise mind, and it's basically a middle ground between rational mind, which is kind of all of the logic, all of the common sense, and emotional mind, which is kind of all of the emotional side of things, clearly. And in order to kind of experience greater peace of mind and contentment, if we can kind of try to apply wise mind mentality to all of our endeavors, we'll be a lot better off. Because when we're continuously tied up in the emotional side of things, it's exhausting and we're always going to be reactive. Likewise, if we're always rational and we insist that kind of everything is black and white, we miss out on an awful lot, and we have this kind of determination or need to be right all of the time. And it's in no ways beneficial to us in connecting, nor is it a very spiritual nor kind mindset to carry around with us. Again, we're trying to focus on being resilient, yes, on being able to bounce back, but it not bounce back in this kind of very self-righteous, self-centered manner. What we want to do is to be less reactive to what goes on around us, to I suppose, stop having such a starring role in everything that goes on, because ultimately we're not the star of the show. I mean, we're just very one small part of what's going on. And when we can kind of accept that and just accept our reality for what it is and take responsibility for our own behaviors and our own actions, we're a lot better off, as opposed to assuming that everyone else is out to get us, or that it's kind of, we're very hard done by. And again, these kind of mindsets of humility and compassion and forgiveness, they're not easy to come by. I mean, I struggle with them every single day. I struggle with tolerance of strong emotions. I struggle to carry myself through to that wise mind place. But again, it's a discipline, it's a muscle, it's something that you keep on building on, and you try to apply it as regularly as possible. And the more you get there, the more you can cultivate peace of mind and contentment, which is ultimately what we all want, despite what we say. We want the body, we want the house, we want the career, we want the relationship. Really, we just want to feel at peace. We want to feel, content in our lives. We want to, I suppose, not have to continuously prove ourselves. And I suppose it's not about being right. It's not about being perfect. It's about acknowledging that maybe there are no answers. There is no easy way out of it, that you have to take every scenario as it comes. And as I said, be as objective and not take things as personally as possible. If this is something that you struggle with in your life, and you'd like to be able to build the skill of applying perspective and taking a step back and taking a deep breath, if you find yourself very reactive, if everything is personal, get in touch with me on my website. It's fundamentals.ie. You'll also catch all my video content on my YouTube channel, which is Fiona Feely, and you'll catch me on my Instagram and my Facebook. Both of those pages are called Fundamentals. Oh, and also I do a regular podcast with Neil O'Brien called Touchy and Feely on iTunes and Spotify. Lots of mental health content. Go check it out. You'll enjoy a listen. Hope everyone has an amazing day.